Today we shall learn about propofol. It is the most commonly used sedative hypnotic drug to induce, maintain general anesthesia. Alright. It also has got multiple other uses. So let's just quickly understand propofol. So propofol is also, the chemical structure of propofol is 2,6-diisopropyl phenol. Okay, there are different preparations of propofol. So let's go through each of them one by one. So the first preparation we shall understand is Diprivan, because it is the formulation that we are using on a daily basis. Okay, so this Diprivan, it is a milky white in appearance. Alright, the pH is 7. It is stable at room temperature and it should be diluted with 5% dextrose. Alright, now this Diprivan has got propofol, so it has got 1% propofol as the drug, okay, and then it's got lipid, okay, within it. So it has got 10% soybean oil, which serves as the medium to carry the propofol. Then you have 1.2% of phospholipid, okay, the purified egg phospholipid, which will act as an emulsifying agent. Then you have 2.25% of glycerol, which adjusts the tonicity. Okay, it's a tonicity adjusting agent. So what does this mean? That it will make this propofol isotonic with blood. Then sodium hydroxide is present, which is to change the pH. And then you have EDTA, which acts as a bacteriostatic agent. Okay, so this propofol preparation is most commonly used. So let's understand the older version, which is the generic propofol. So this generic propofol, it had a pH which was much more acidic, and it also used sodium metabisulfite as the preservative. Currently, generic propofol is not used. We are using Diprivan. Let's also understand Aquavan or first propofol, which is a newer drug. It is a pro-drug of propofol. So propofol is lipid soluble. So to overcome the issues of this lipid content, okay, they have come up with a new drug, which is first propofol, which is known as Aquavan. So this first propofol is water soluble. Alright. So it is a water soluble pro-drug. First propofol will get metabolized in the liver to form propofol. 1.8 mg of first propofol will yield 1 mg of propofol. Alright, no lipid content is present. Now, when you give a bolus of first propofol, it can cause perineal paresthesias or pruritus. Okay, and this is attributed to the formaldehyde byproduct that is produced when first propofol is converted to propofol. So, what are the other points of this Aquavan? Alright, it's got a slower onset, it's got a more potent effect, and it's got a larger volume of distribution. Now there is another drug preparation which is known as Ampofol, which I mentioned over here. So Ampofol has got 50% less lipid content as compared to Diprivan. So what is the lipid content of Diprivan? It is soybean oil and the egg phospholipid. So this is exactly 50% less. So that means Ampofol contains 5% soybean oil and 0.6% of purified egg phospholipid. Now, because the lipid content is lower, a bacteriostatic agent is not required over here. And we would anticipate that it would cause less pain on injection, but no, there is in fact more pain on injection with Ampofol. Now we shall understand what is the mechanism of action of propofol. So what is the mechanism of action of propofol? It is a very simple mechanism of action. It is a sedative hypnotic, alright. It is a GABA A receptor modulator, okay. It acts on the GABA A receptor in the brain. So what it does is that it will, inhibit, it will prevent, it will delay the dissociation of GABA neurotransmitter from its receptor, which is the GABA A receptor, alright. What is going to happen is that there is going to be prolonged effect of GABA on its own receptor. Okay, GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain, and its effect will be prolonged because of propofol. Now, because of this prolonged effect of the GABA on its own receptor will cause increased duration of the chloride channel opening, which is mediated by this receptor. Alright, so chloride channel will remain open for a longer time. It will cause hyperpolarization of the cell membranes, and because of which there's going to be generalized CNS depressant effect of propofol. Alright, propofol does not have any direct depressant effect on the spinal cord, unlike the volatile agents. Now we shall understand the pharmacokinetics of propofol. Okay, so let us understand what are the pharmacokinetics of propofol. It's again a very simple topic. So propofol is primarily cleared out from the blood through hepatic metabolization. Alright, so its primary route of elimination is via hepatic clearance. Okay, so What is the hepatic clearance of propofol? It is 30 to 60 ml per kg per minute. Okay, so let's take an example. If we have a 50 kg patient, all right, so if you just multiply this rate of clearance by 50 kgs, you will get to know that the hepatic clearance of propofol will be around 1500 to 3000 ml per minute. Okay, but what is the normal hepatic blood flow? The normal hepatic blood flow is 800 to 1200 ml per minute. Okay, so the normal hepatic blood flow is 800 to 1200 ml per minute, which is actually quite less compared to the hepatic clearance of propofol. So this itself suggests that there is some amount of extra hepatic clearance occurring as well. All right, so the propofol clearance which is occurring there, it is extrahepatic and hepatic. Hepatic is the primary method, like primary pathway for clearance. So hepatic clearance in the liver, you will see glucuronidation of the propofol. All right, it will form inactive metabolites. Okay, there will be production of inactive propofol metabolites which are water soluble, and they will be excreted out through the urine via the kidneys. Okay, the extrahepatic sites, now there are two extrahepatic sites. One is the lung and the second is the kidneys. All right, so in the lung, the propofol, that is 2,6-diisopropyl phenol, will be converted to another structure, which is 2,6-diisopropyl 1,4-quinol. All right, now what is the half-life of propofol? So the half-life is 30 minutes to 90 minutes, and then there is something known as the context sensitive half-life. All right, so what is this context sensitive half-life of propofol? It has been calculated that after 8 hours of continuous infusion, the context over here is the hours of infusion. So if an 8-hour infusion has been going on, then the T half for propofol will be 40 minutes. Okay, they also noted that the duration of the infusion does not really affect the context sensitive half-life, which is 40 minutes, unless and until this propofol is going to be used for very long hours for ICU sedation. Then this context sensitive half-life will not be 40 minutes, but it will be much more prolonged if the infusion goes on for much more hours beyond 8 hours. All right, now let's understand there are some benefits of using propofol. Okay, there are certain advantages of propofol because of its characteristic pharmacokinetics. All right, so propofol, when you can use it for rapid sequence induction intubation. All right, so if you push propofol really fast, like within 15 seconds all your propofol is within the patient, it will produce hypnosis within less than 30 seconds. All right, it will produce unconsciousness within 30 seconds, and now you can quickly induce the patient for GA by rapid sequence induction intubation. The another advantage is that there's going to be rapid awakening of the patient after GA. Plus, the patient will have minimum residual CNS effects after propofol. All right, and many of these benefits are because of very fast equilibrium is achieved at the blood-brain barrier. Okay, now you would assume that because a lot of propofol is going to be metabolized by the liver, a liver cirrhotic patient or patient with deranged LFTs may have impaired propofol clearance. But no, it has been found out through studies that a patient with liver cirrhosis, the time taken for the patient to clear out the propofol was the same as any other normal patient. So liver cirrhosis is not a contraindication for using propofol. Renal dysfunction also is not a contraindication for using propofol because the clearance is again not impaired. Okay, but if the patient is very old, for example, if the patient was more than 60 years old, so here in this situation the clearance will be quite reduced. Propofol also crosses the placenta. It enters the neonatal circulation, but it will be cleared out from the neonatal circulation very rapidly. So what are the uses of propofol? So as we all know, propofol is used as an induction agent. So the dose for inducing a patient for general anesthesia will be 1.5 to 2.5 mg per kg IV. All right. So this dose, a higher range will be required in children because they have a larger volume of distribution as well as a faster clearance rate. Okay, and versus the elderly population, which has got a lower volume of distribution and lower clearance rate. So hence, the lesser, the lower end of the spectrum of this drug will be required for an elderly patient. Now, what is the onset of hypnosis? How much time will it take for the onset of hypnosis to occur with propofol? So it will take 1 arm brain circulation time, which is around 40 seconds. time 40 to 60 seconds time, and the peak effect of hypnosis can be seen at 90 seconds if the higher end of the drug is used, that is 2.5 mg per kg IV drug is given, then the peak effect of hypnosis will be seen at 90 seconds. Alright, now it is also used for IV sedation. Okay, so what is the dose for IV sedation? It is 25 to 100 micrograms per kg per minute. Now when we are practically thinking, this this number becomes very difficult for us to understand and calculate. So it's better that we are already prepared with the calculation in our mind before we start the case. So 25 to 100 mics per kg per minute, which means what? Okay, so if there's a patient who is 50 kgs in weight, so if you multiply this by 60, all right, if you multiply this by the weight of the patient, so 25 to 100 mics per kg, so it comes to 1.2 mg to 5 mg per minute, okay, for a 50 kg patient. Now the infusion pumps that you have go at the rate of per hour. Okay, so per hour basis, so again we need to calculate. So by per hour basis, if you calculate, it comes to 70 mg to 300 mg per hour of propofol has to be given to the patient. Now we need to convert to ml of propofol. So if you convert it to ml, it comes to 7 ml to 30 ml per hour. Okay, so you will remember theoretically that it is 25 to 100 mics per kg per minute, but practically when you need to apply it for IV sedation, what you can always remember is that I have to start the infusion at 7 ml to 30 ml per hour is the range within which I have to be. Okay, now what is it? You can also use it for maintenance of anesthesia. You can use it for TIVA, which is total intravenous anesthesia. Okay, a GA case with IV propofol. So here, what is the infusion rate? The infusion rate is 100 to 300 mics per kg per minute. Now again, a lot of calculation, right? So if you consider a patient who is 50 kgs in weight, this comes to 5 milligrams to 15 milligrams per minute. Now if you come to per hour, it comes to 300 milligram to 900 milligrams per hour. Now if you want to convert that into how many ml per hour do I have to start my infusion, so that will come to 30 ml to 90 ml per hour, which should be your infusion rate when the case is undergoing in total intravenous anesthesia. For this kind of maintenance, you have to also add on maintenance with opioid drugs. All right, so from practical point of view, IV sedation, you have to start your infusion at 7 ml per hour. You can go up to like 30 ml per hour, and for maintenance you can start at like 30 ml per hour and you can go up to 90 ml per hour, considering your patient is on an average 50 kgs. If the patient is more in weight, then you just go a little higher than this. There are other non-hypnotic uses of propofol. So it's found that it's got an anti-emetic effect. So for that, you have to give 10 milligrams of propofol. That is 1 ml of propofol is sufficient for anti-emetic effect. It does not have any prokinetic effect. Okay, so you cannot replace the use of Perinom, that is metoclopramide, by giving propofol. All right, anti-emetic effect. So if your patient is given NSAID, that is ondansetron, and yet the patient is having vomiting and nausea, you can consider using 1 ml of propofol to settle down that, that to give that anti-emetic effect. But if you want to have a prokinetic effect, propofol will not be your drug of use. Okay. The other use is that it's also having an antipruritic effect. Again, the dose is around the same. And then you have the anticonvulsant effect of propofol. So let's understand what are the pharmacodynamics of propofol. That is, what effect does it have on the different systems of the body. So the very first system that we shall see is the central nervous system. So propofol decreases the cerebral metabolism in general, alright, because of which the cerebral metabolic rate of oxygen consumption is reduced, alright. Therefore, there is decrease in the cerebral blood flow. There will be decrease in the ICP, alright. Autoregulation, the cerebral autoregulation will remain intact, and very high doses of propofol you will observe that there is burst suppression noted in the EEG with high doses of propofol. Now, cortical SSEPs, that is a somatosensory evoked potentials, will not be affected, and also electrocorticography, which is done during awake craniotomy, that is brain mapping is done during awake craniotomy, so that will not be affected with propofol, provided that you discontinue the propofol 15 minutes prior to taking the electrocorticography readings. Now, what is the effect on the CVS? So in the CVS, it's going to cause fall in the BP. Alright, so you should give adequate hydration before you start induction with propofol. There will be no effect on the heart rate, except that in some of the cases there might be bradycardia might occur, okay, which is a very rare situation. And what is the effect, on the respiratory system? It is definitely going to cause dose dependent respiratory depression. There's going to be gradual reduction in the tidal volume as well as gradual reduction in the respiratory rate of the patient. So what is the effect of propofol on the kidneys and the liver? So there is going to be no effect of the propofol on the kidney or the liver when you're giving a single dose of induction of propofol, or you're maintaining the case on propofol. But if you're giving very prolonged infusions of propofol like in the ICU setting, you can have hepatocellular injury. Okay, you can also have green colored urine because of phenols. You can also have a cloudy urine because of crystallization of the uric acid in the urine. All right, but cloudy urine or green urine does not mean that the renal functions are deranged. Okay, the renal functions will turn out to be normal. Now, what about the intraocular pressure? So, if you are maintaining a case of laparoscopic surgery, under inhalation agents, then the increase in the IOP is much more, versus if you maintain this case with propofol, the increase in the IOP that is noted is much lesser. So, this is the benefit of propofol. So, what are the side effects of propofol? There can be allergic reaction, in propofol, and that is attributed to the phenol, okay, the phenolic ring which is present in propofol, because many other drugs, especially dermat preparations, have got phenols in them, and this cross reaction can cause an allergic reaction to propofol. All right, you might think that the patient has got egg allergy. That means I should avoid using propofol, or the patient has got soybean allergy, I should avoid using propofol, but that's not the case, because these lipids, okay, the soybean oil or the egg phospholipid has got very less egg protein in it. Okay, so it is a very highly unlikely that the patient will have an allergic reaction. Okay, if the patient has got an anaphylactic reaction to consuming egg, then propofol is contraindicated. Okay, a simple egg allergy is not a contraindication for using propofol. Then it also has abuse potential. It also can cause bacterial growth, okay, because of such high lipid content. E. coli and Pseudomonas aeruginosa have been found in, propofol. Hence, you should always use sterile techniques in withdrawing, withdrawing the propofol from the vial. Clean the surface of the vial with, 70% alcohol, and do a sterile method of aspiration of the drug, and use the drug within 6 hours and discard the drug after 6 hours of aspirating it. Okay, once you have started using the vial, then discard the vial after 6 hours of opening that vial. Then pain on injection is also another complication of propofol. So try using a wide bore IV, use the dorsum of the hand, and you can also give IV Loxicard before administering propofol. Do not mix, it's not advisable to mix propofol with other drugs. So do not mix propofol and Loxicard within the same syringe. Give Loxicard prior and then give propofol. All right. You can also use the medium chain triglyceride and the long chain triglyceride containing propofol emulsions. Now, the propofol infusion syndrome is also a complication wherein a patient who is receiving more than 4 milligram per kg propofol per hour, infusion rate in the ICU for more than 48 hours, it predisposes the patient for propofol infusion syndrome. So how are you going to know that the patient is having propofol infusion syndrome? You will see that the patient is having acute, it is a very acute refractory bradycardia which is progressing towards asystole. Along with that, the patient also has got metabolic acidosis, or the patient can have these following features. Maybe at least one or more have to be present. So patient could have metabolic acidosis, that's a high anion gap acidosis. You will see the patient has rhabdomyolysis, hyperlipidemia, fatty liver. So this is indicating that the patient is probably having propofol infusion syndrome. You're supposed to immediately stop the propofol whenever you suspect propofol infusion syndrome. So you will see it will take me time, to get the ABG reports done. But if you suspect it clinically, stop the propofol, let the reports run, and then only can you restart the propofol. So that's it for propofol, and I shall come up with more lectures soon.